Hello and welcome to another edition of The Great Escape. Now, the travel team has said if I want to do the things they do, I have to be fit. They say they let me go on location if I can prove my fitness and I'm prepared to rough it out. Well, fine. It's a free port, which means it has a lot of spirit. So you can laze around and do all the good things in life, which is exactly what Amir Bashir did.
Yo man, it's Calypso time in Raga country. No, I'm not on some Caribbean island, but this island set off the west coast of India comes close. Diu is a union territory and small by any standards. It's less than 12 kilometers long and few people have even heard about its existence. This tiny resort at Ahmedpur Manvi is just 3 kilometers away from Diu town. It's got its own private beach and water sports. Cottages here cost between 1,000 to 2,000 rupees a night, so if you've got the money to spend, it's worth it. But if you're looking for something cheaper, there are plenty of options in Diu. No matter where you stay, you'll only be a stone's throw away from the sea. And because few tourists come here, most of the beaches are isolated and unexplored. There was a time when almost every explorer worth his salt knew about Diu, and it had trade links with many countries. It was once an important port, and virtually every king who ruled Gujarat had a tough time protecting Diu.
A história que eu vou contar, a história de uma mulher. Quem não conhece sua vida vai dizer que é
More than 500 years ago, the Portuguese realized the importance of Diu as a port. They tried to capture it several times but failed. Finally, a Portuguese governor, Nuno da Cunha, decided to have a meeting with the Shah of Gujarat. The two leaders met at sea, but after the meeting, only one of them returned. The rest is all history. Whether the Shah of Gujarat's death was an accident or a murder, we'll never know. All we know is that the Portuguese didn't waste any time. They quickly built a fort and ruled Diu for 500 years. In 1961, Diu, Daman and Goa were freed of the Portuguese by the Indian Army. That's when almost every Portuguese national left. What they left behind in Diu was a quaint little town with a big Portuguese hangover. You get a feel of the bygone colonial era on the cobbled streets of Diu. It's losing its old feel though.
Cuando se marea dolores, cuando se quema amores, cuando se inmala su vela, cuando se inmala dolores, cuando se inmala dolores, cuando se quema dolores, cuando se inmala su vela, cuando se inmala sabores.
If you're a motorcycle freak like me, then you can't leave Diu without trying out the chakra. It's the local motorcycle rickshaw. And all you need to do is convince the chakrawala to let you get behind the handlebar. It's really something. The St. Paul's Church is supposed to be one of the most elaborate Portuguese churches in India. It's 400 years old, and time has not diminished its impressiveness. It's one of the few churches in Diu where service still takes place. Most of the others have been converted into either hospitals, museums, or schools. This is because there aren't enough Christian families here for the number of churches. It's not just Diu's beaches that attract people, but also its unrestricted access to alcohol, especially when the neighboring state of Gujarat is totally dry. In fact, on weekends, hordes of thirsty Gujaratis drive down from all over the state to quench their thirst and drown those blues away.
Home by the sea, home by the sea, home by the sea, home by the sea. Creeping up the blind side, shimming up the wall, stealing through the dark of night.
After a tiring day of swimming to win the Battle of the Bulge, most tourists lose the war at nightfall. Food is a great leveler. If you'd like your prawn curry to taste like butter chicken and your crabs to taste like tikka, then this is the place for you. I guess there's no harm in experimenting. It's quite good actually. Punjabi-style seafood has its advantages. You regain your calories, all the better for a hectic day ahead. Most resorts here have water sports facilities, and for a price, you can try your hand, or is it your legs, at several different sports. As you can see, this is not a normal geared scooter that negotiates dirt tracks. For starters, it doesn't have any gears. It looks like a space machine from Flash Gordon comics, and to top it all, I have no control over it. He does. It's quite exhilarating, especially when you hit a wave and are airborne for a fraction of a second. But the fact that the guy behind you is doing all the work takes some of the fun away. I'll have to look for something where I can be on my own.
Let me just say well. Let me just say well.
I guess it'll take me years of practice and a lot of favorable wind to do this. After a refreshing game with the boys, I think I'll start what I left midway. They say you haven't tried anything until you go parasailing. I wonder where that leaves bungee jumping. They tell me it's not as scary as it looks, but I find that hard to believe. I just hope they're right. Before you realize what's going on, you're already hanging in midair. There isn't any time to get the shivers. All you can do is hang on. It's only when you're up there that you realize how vast the ocean is. It's the one angle that you'll never get to see from the beach. Whoever thought that my first shot at parasailing would be on a remote island I never thought existed.
Highly recommended.